Alright, so I saw that Nanashi was doing some goldlewis stuff, and, well, you know, I'm a goldlewis player, so I figured I could give a hand. I am a goldlewis is my main secondary. I have about 1,000 games on the character now. You know, I use him to counterpick characters that are bad matchups for Kai, like Axel. I know that seems counterintuitive, but like, trust me, Gold Lewis does better than Kai does. Uh, and so, um, I actually don't think the matchup's that bad. I have improved a lot at the Kai Axel matchup and think it's like maybe slightly losing now. And in this patch, I have no idea. It probably is actually good now, but last patch, Kai Axel was Kai's worst matchup, and I felt that Gold Lewis Axel was even. So, all right, let's go ahead and break this down. So I just kind of want to do like a quick overview. Is he on block? Yeah, he's on block. He's mashing. So I want to do a quick overview of like some extremely common situations against Gold Lewis and how to deal with them, and also how to kind of stop his approach. So we'll start with just like defensive situations that are really common. Probably the most common thing in the world is this right here. This is like Gold Lewis's main approach situation, and that's like what they do. So you don't want to mash into this, despite him being minus here. He's like minus, if he does it at max height up here, he's minus quite a bit. But the problem is nothing you have is going to reach or get there in time. Some characters have a good, like Johnny has a good far slash, so I think Kai's might actually be good enough now because he's got the 10 frame. That might be good enough if he does it high like this. Yeah, that looks good. Make it a good hop. Yeah. No, not good enough. Okay. So I think it's 9. Every now and then that will hit in a way where I get hit there as a Gold Lewis player. I've never labbed that fully. But in general, you just want to block. There isn't really a threat. Like he is minus right here. And he's looking to whiff punish with a 684, which, you know, that's pretty much it. There's not really any threat. If you want to, at further ranges, like this range out here, backdash is pretty strong. You'll just get out of the situation. You'll just leave. But in general, just don't press. Places that are common to mash. So first, anything that goes into the slower stuff, this has like a 30 frame gap. So the only reason the jab doesn't work at max range is it whiffs. But you should be trying to mash when you see this. This one is it has a huge gap. Now, other places to mash that are far more common at point blank. This frame traps, and it leads to like all the damage in the world. But at most of the time you're blocking at this range here, and this right here does not. Neither that or 5k goes into that. Far slash, on the other hand, far slash does, so keep that in mind. In general, on a max range far slash, it's totally fine to just mash backdash because it's really hard to delay this in a way that will catch backdash. So it's pretty fine if you're going to get away from 684. Backdash is pretty good. Similarly, you're going to block this at this range a lot, right? You don't want to mash there. He either can make it gapless, like that, or he can delay it a little bit like I did and get a frame trap there. Now, the thing that you want to do at that range is you want to backdash. So if I try to do, like, at this sort of max range here, it doesn't reach. Now, that's not the same thing as this range where it's really bad. Pretty much everything in Gold Lewis, you're trying to maintain what range does something work or does not work. At max range, this move is very plus, but also he doesn't have anything that reaches. So short of him calling it out like that, there's not a lot he can do. So, like, yes, he can do... yes, Gold Lewis can do this to catch backdash. He can. make them show it to you first. Most Gold Lewis's just autopilot that, right? Because it's the easy one, and also it's gonna not lose to mash. If they do start doing this into this, well, I'm sorry, 5P was not the right button, but there's a huge gap there. You can mash that. Then you saw that it wasn't a counter hit; it was a whiff punish. So you had time for the entire animation of punch. So like you have, I think about 10 frames. I'm not totally sure. Haven't tested it. Don't really care. You have a while. You can mash stuff. Then what's the other ones that people do? Something that's really common in the corner is to do something like this. Right? That's really common. And in general, if you have a fast move that can get there, like a Stun Dipper, it will work. While this is like plus 15, you know, in order for him to actually beat that, he has to do something like this. And most of those are going to whiff, right? Most of those are going to whiff. So they'll do stuff like this, right? That's kind of the sort of setup where you see it. This one, he cannot go into that without having a pretty big gap. So, you know, it's very slow. It's very plus, but it's very slow. So what they typically do is like that kind of thing or this kind of thing. You know, and you can challenge it. So if you have like a good far slash, you know, even a slower button like this, you know, that is a natural challenge point. So if Gold Lewis is ever doing this or this, I'll just do it slow, right? If he's ever doing that, then if he's ever doing that, then there's a gap that you can mash a pretty big button and it will hit him. Now, in the corner, Gold Lewis does not have easy access to things that are safe to reversals. So in order for him to bait a reversal, most of the time he has to just stop. And so it is, while yes, obviously, let's say you're doing Vapor Thrust or something, right? And he's doing like that and you whiff it, you are dead. Right, if you are wrong, you die. His corner combos, he's gonna get like 300 damage. You're dead. Right, there's not much. That's not much to do that. But that said, it is pretty hard for Gold Lewis to, like, not hard, but like he has to stop what he's doing. And so if you represent it, particularly with a DPRC, he has to kind of respect it. Now, there are some safe jumps. They're just not that many. Like, he has safe jumps on this, right? On non-counter hit and counter hit, he has safe jumps. But for the most part, most of his gaps can be hit by DPs. So be aware. That's something you can look for. What other things are good to know? There's a lot of I don't know. That's my I currently have COVID. My brain isn't working that well. I think that whatever, that's enough of them. There definitely are other situations and other common setups, but in general, mash on the big slow ones. The fast ones are minus. This one and this one are minus, unless they are right here. Then it is plus. Oh, I didn't do that right there. Pop. Right, it's plus. But that's only when he like whiffs and you hit that tail end of it. So outside of setups. Oh, actually, I remember some more things. Just talking about it. So where is block type? It's a block. Flawless defense. So people usually know about this, but a lot of his options don't work on flawless defense. So he has to Kara that, which I can't. My hands cannot do that. Don't worry about it. I not that good. But he can only do this one on FD. So he has no low representation. None of his lows work. On instant block, actually, very commonly, Gold Lewis will do like a... Oh, that's a true block string, apparently. Wow. So very commonly, this situation comes up, right, where he's -3. Now, they will often meaty with this. If you instant block that rather than FD it, you're right next to him, and then if he tries to mash, he gets thrown. Right? All of his quick mashes get thrown. So it's actually pretty good to try and instant block meaty 684. No, I'm sorry, 268. It's pretty useful to do that because it beats his mash. Now, he can tech this, obviously, like he is technically +3, but why is he not teching? I guess the input, whatever. You tech that throw, like that's what happens when that happens in match. So I guess it's just like this coding thing is weird, where it only has like one frame of I don't know. That's super weird. Now, what other thing? Standing K. No, I want him to do P. If you're doing instant blocks, be aware that a lot of his things that do not frame trap do frame trap when you instant block them, like that. Often, if he did it at that range and it was not an instant block, right, he's like a little bit away, there is a gap, so be aware that you're playing with his range when you try to instant block or FD. Most of the time, if you do not know, it's fine. It's better to FD because like it's a lot of chip damage. Like look at it's just a lot of chip damage. So most of the time, like that's two IBs is a good chunk of your health. That's like I don't know 15%. You generally want to FD because it protects you from chip damage. It's easy to do, and also if you get pushed away, you quite often, like, let's say he does, something like this. All of a sudden now you can backdash. So if I have him doing, counter attack settings, I have him, let's put this one to backdash. If I have him do something like this, right, that gets away. But also, if he's doing it here, you're further away, so you can backdash away. So, you know, that's a pretty strong set of, like, just it. You want to be further away from goldlewis. That's all there is to it, really. Now he does chunk your meter. Like, that's a lot of meter build, right? Like, look at how much meter. Like, so if he does this into that, right, he's taking a good chunk of meter off of you. So, you know, be aware that your meter is the thing. Now, the last thing that I wanted to talk about actually is doing some stuff in reverse about how to interface with goldlewis. So goldlewis, his general game plan is and how you want to, like, play around him. So goldlewis, as like a rule of thumb, he is trying to catch you with something like this, or he's trying to catch you with something like this, right? He's trying to do that to kind of to approach or defend himself. Now, false dashes are super good against goldlewis because if he ever, oh no, I don't want to record. I want to just whiff it, right? So if for some reason you can get him to whiff that, that is the easiest whiff punish in the game. Not literally, but like this one is really easy. You just want to make sure that it's all the way out of the way before you go for your route. But it is really good at this range. goldlewis, like, in order to do this, because this move right here, he has to buffer a pretty big input to defend himself with it. He has to, like, you can just sort of run up and stop there, and he has to commit, right? He has to commit into that to stop you from approaching him. Now, he also can start doing stuff like this or this to stop you approaching him. But one of the things about that is, let's say he's doing this to defend himself, right? Is that this move right here, first off, it is whiff punishable, but also it just, like, sucks at hitting things that are low. So first off, you can 6p it, right? You can dash up in 2k, you can... So quite often, like, all the DLC 2Ks go under it, a lot of 2Ds go under it, so, like, here, you know, Kai doesn't have a good example of that outside of, like, Stun Dipper and 6p, but he, you know, this move has a lot of recovery. It is, you know, that kind of stuff. It like, loses to 6p. A lot of his approach loses to 6p. Now, similarly, if he's doing, like, this kind of thing, run up 6p is... Like, it's really hard for him to stop you from doing run up 6p. What he has to do to stop you from run up 6p is, like, 5k, 2k, or 2s, or 6a4. And 6a4 we already talked about is, like, it's something he has to really commit to use to stop you. 6a4 is he doesn't know how you're approaching, but he knows that you're approaching. And it will cover, like, a lot of air approaches. So, in general, you actually do not want to approach in the air against goldlewis. Despite his anti-airs being somewhat baitable, the reason for that is, like, the obvious reason of this hits a huge area. And if he gets this, like, let's say you're out here and you're like, oh no, I got caught. That's his win condition. Like, him getting that knockdown is his win condition. Don't really, like, approach in the air in, like, very limitedly. It's fine to jump around, but it's not fine to air dash, usually. Because just there's nothing you're going to be calling out with an air dash to speak of. Now the let's see, was it this one? Yeah, this one right here. A lot of that stuff, run up 6p is pretty good. It's just that it's going to trade a lot, and that's fine. But if you are sort of, like, approaching and he's doing this somewhat reactively, where he's like, oh, he sees you approaching, he's doing, like, that kind of thing to stop you from approaching, 6p is going to blow it up. He cannot do it reactively. He has to do it... he has to... he has to kind of do it, like, really reactively. He has to be kind of doing it proactively. And if he's doing it proactively, you just run up the edge and wait. You can try and tag the landing, you know, that kind of thing. You know, that's totally fine. Similarly, you can do like that. And that's catching the second jump there, so it's like he is blocking that. Now, that is not to say that you should not really try to 6p this. Well, while, yes, a 6p can beat it, look at that. Like, it's, like, doing 6p on reaction to this is not easy. And, well, okay, whatever. It's not something you really should try to do. If you're trying to wall him out of that, you're much better off trying to rise or have a big button already out. So, like, with Kai, I really like this button because it covers... It's something I can, like, run up and approach. It will cover this, you know, for, you know, pretty big damage. It will cover a lot of different things. Then the other... for this, like, yes, you can 6p it, but, like, at a lot of ranges like this, you're going to get counter hit. Kai 6p is too good. I get counter hits there. Okay, you know what? Let's actually do this like I would. Right, like that. Okay. Quite often, you're going to get trades, or you're going to outright lose. You know, that's going to happen all the time. Now, if he's trying to beat a 6p, he's delaying it a little bit, so lighter attacks actually are easier to react with. And you get more damage on these, usually. So, that is a thing, particularly if your character has a good anti-air jab, like Kai or Milia or someone. That's actually usually better. Or Chip. Chip is, like... Oh, Chip is absolute pain for goldlewis. people complain about Happy Cast and say that matchup's horrible, and like to be fair, it is. But Chip is so much worse. Chip is so much worse than Happy Cast for Gold Lewis. I detest that matchup. Again, that is not at all levels of play. There's a lot of when I say matchups, I mean like good players. I mean like proper top players or tournament regulars. You know, they're who I mean for where the matchup starts to become really hard. Now the next thing, you're often, if you have a good air to air, jump back air to airs are like super good against Gold Lewis, because while yes he does have this kind of thing, so long as you're doing it on reaction, he's not going to be doing this kind of thing to catch that. And also if you jump back against this, right, you get knocked full screen, you can't follow it, so that's fine. That is a general like game sense idea that you would want to do. I know that I'm just kind of rambling kind of aimlessly talking about this matchup. I'm not going to edit it down. I'm just going to post it as is. But you know, all of those kind of ideas are, you know, this kind of thing is really good if your character has that. Similarly, if he's hopping at really close range, you can run under him. If you're a fast character like Giovanna, this is quite strong. Speaking of other characters who I hate fighting as Gold Lewis. Actually, I take that back. I just hate fighting Giovanna. Like, I hate fighting Giovanna as everyone. That's beside the point. All right, so I don't know. I guess that's it. I'll watch this back. I probably missed a lot of things. I'm not going to cover it. I wanted to just throw general ideas out there and not put too much thought into this. So, hope this was helpful for someone. There's a quick 20-minute rundown of like interactions for Gold Lewis. In general, the basic idea of neutral is a bunch of false dashes or actually running in. Once he's conditioned to like not whiff in your face, then you just run in and mess with him, or just run in like go am. Yeah. And then how you stop like his approach. His approach really is this, or like this, or this. Right, that's his approach. So you answer those with kind of like the ground stuff people know how to do. Like it's if he's doing this, you know, you can defend yourself with 6p, you can press a button, you can do whatever. If he's doing he's gonna kind of guess between doing this or doing this or doing this. Or I guess this or this. And you kind of like you answer them in groups. So like if you're answering this, you might like want to 6p or far slash or something like that. But one of the ways he baits that out is he does this from further range to kind of like call out the hit of you answering that. So just be careful. So yeah, that's kind of a quick rundown. That's all I got. I don't know. I've got more. I don't know. I'm just gonna call it here. All right. Hope it helps. Bye.